Good evening. I am Buddy Thayer, and this is legit paranormal. No, not mine. It's a legit metaphysical world, but it's in fact a legit metaphysical rerun. You're normally used to seeing with Auntie Dale, and tonight you're joined by me, Buddy Thayer. You're joined by me, Buddy Money Thayer. I get notes from me from HR all the time about how I'm supposed to say my name and all this nonsense. So, with that being said, Auntie Dale is going on a short, not hiatus. She's because she's coming back in September. She's taking the month of August off, and her guest bailed on her this evening, so she's going to take tonight off because she's very busy because she's moving her entire life. Her and her husband, my lovely Uncle James, they're moving to Charleston, South Carolina, the Holy City, and she will be back in September, and she will bring you more metaphysical secrets and more paranormal stuff from the Holy City. The Holy City. I don't know why they call it that. It's the city that sparked the Civil War, one of the most bloodiest conflicts in American history. And she's moving down there, which is great for me because I'm paranormal investigating, bloody warfare, awful bloody history. Yes, it makes for great investigation. So I tend to digress. So that's what Dale's going to be for the next month. So for the next month or so, you're going to see legit metaphysical reruns, or if you want to say legit open bar, whatever we happen to call it for that particular week. So this week, before I get into the show, tonight's show I picked in particular because it's important regarding this weekend's event. So this weekend's event, let me share my screen and show you some stuff here. Share screen. And here we go. And I'm going to go into this here. And we're going to look at this for a little bit. I don't know if I'm doing this right. All right, Chrome tab. Mike would be so mad at me and he'd be saying so many things right now. Okay, here we go. Let's try this. All right, here we go. So this is our website, www.legitparanormal. Oh, no, sorry. legitpodcast.com. www.legitpodcast.com. It's right here up in the tab. You can see as soon as you log onto the page, this is a thing that we're doing 3 times this summer. So we did it back in June with Tim Weisberg. We're doing it in August with Chris DeCesare, and aka the Ghost Boy of Genesco. And this upcoming weekend, this whole weekend, we're bringing out none other than Maddie Warner from Warner Paranormal Research Society, and they do historical preservation, and they have 2 locations up in Mass, and they do a lot to preserve history. So we're having Matt come out to Block Island, and he's going to take part in this weekend. So this weekend consists of, I don't know if there's a link here for Block Island Ghost Tours, who is our people who are helping us do this. Rick Lysick, you can be seen on Legit Paranormal Clips on Thursday nights. He's a wonderful man, and he owns Block Island Ghost Tour. So this is going to be the weekend of events on Block Island for this Saturday. So I mean, if you could buy the tickets, you can get it. If you can get booking a hotel out there on the island or a bed and breakfast, awesome for you. If you want to pay that kind of money, it's very expensive over there this time of year. If you know somebody that lives over there, I recommend going to stay with them if you want to do the whole weekend. But the weekend starts on Friday evening at 7 p.m. with a VIP meet and greet. That would be with our VIP Matt Warner. Followed by Saturday, after the drinking is said and done, everybody gets up, and the events are hosted by none other than King Mike L. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., it will be beach time and free time. There's a lot of beach on Block Island. It's an island. It's surrounded by beaches, and they're absolutely beautiful. At 2:30 will be tonight's guest. Not tonight's guest, but I'm playing one of her shows, one of her 5 shows with legitpodcast.com. Tarot readings and jokes. No. That's not accurate. It will be tarot readings and a gallery reading with Sarah Gagne of Noir Tarot. She's out of East Greenwich. She's been on several shows, as I said, and you're going to see her tonight. And she's absolutely phenomenal. She has this ability to connect with people. She connected with me in a few sessions, and things that she says, it's so accurate. It's just so, I don't know. There's no way this woman would know this kind of stuff about me. I'm just one person to another. This lady's legit. Okay, so she'll do her gallery readings, her tarot card readings at 2:30. At 4 o'clock, you get the benefit of the Rob Martin Magic Show. Rob is a fantastic magician over there on Block Island. Then at 5 o'clock, you get to join Rick, Lysick, and the kids, and they're going to take you on a ghost tour of Block Island, of Noir Harbor, of Old Harbor. You're going to hear about hauntings that have been around for 300 years. You're going to hear about ships that are on fire. You're going to hear about cross-dressing, which is okay. It's fine that he was, but he was also a serial killer, and he spent some time out on Block Island before he was captured and incarcerated. So you can find out more about that and all the great history, and it's incredible history, and not all of it's pleasant, and not all of it's unpleasant out there on sunny, beautiful Block Island. Then at 6:15, our guest speaker, Matty Warner, will be getting up and doing what he does best and talking. And Matt's a very engaging, very entertaining man. He's very dedicated paranormal investigator, and he has a lot of experiences that he can completely share with you and blow your mind. At 7 o'clock, Mike is going to host a scavenger hunt out there on Block Island. I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but you're going to be finding stuff. And then at 9 o'clock, you're going to be really finding stuff at the after party at Rick Lysick's Club Soda. If you're ever out on Block Island, go to Club Soda, tell them you know Buddy, and I'm willing to think Buddy or just Buddy. Hey, Buddy sent me, and I'm willing to bet you'll get some kind of a discount. So check out our pals at Ricky Lysick at Block Island Ghost Stores is the ghost stores. The special events is the magic show stuff. Bewitched on the Block. I would kind of stay clear of that. And you can book an experience, or you can go to that shop and you can buy all sorts of fun stuff. This Club Soda right there. It's a great bar. It's the best dive bar in Rhode Island, hands down. None of the tourists are there like choking the bar out. It's just all like cool people hanging out. It's got a really hip, neato atmosphere. So I'm going to now. Oh shit! I gotta reshare a screen here. So bear with me for a second as I share with you the show screen and give you Sarah Gagne of La Chat Noir. I didn't fuck it up this time, and I'm the only guy here, so go figure that out. But here we go. Oh, hold on, I messed that up. Share screen. Here we go. We're gonna go to this one. We're gonna do this. Here it is. I'm gonna make it nice and big. Without further ado, it's a legit metaphysical world with your host Auntie Dale Beluccio and her guest Sarah Gagne of La Chat Noir. Enjoy.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to It's a Legit Metaphysical World. I am your host, Auntie Dale, and tonight we are doing something a little different. Tonight we are bringing back one of our card readers from a few weeks ago, Sarah, and we're going to be doing a mediumship type reading instead to see what spirits are around us and see if they have any messages for us tonight. So let's get started because we have 3 volunteers tonight. So we want to get right into it. And hello, Sarah. How are you?
Hi. How are you, Auntie Dale?
I am having a very off week, and it's only Tuesday. So
Well, you know why. It's Mercury retrograde right now, which
I
makes a
do
lot of
know
sense.
that.
And Pluto is also reversed, meaning that there's a lot of crazy things that are happening.
Oh my goodness. And it just seems like the energy around me the last couple of days has been very intense and very exhausting, and throw on the allergies on top of it, it's
And
a lot.
and the full flower moon that just happened on Friday, we are still, in the residual of that.
Yeah.
So I slept like a baby that first, Friday night, and then I can't sleep the next couple of nights because of that full moon energy is just continuing. So there's a lot of things that are crashing together that's making life a little nutty right now.
Just a little, but nothing that we're not used to, nothing that won't happen again, and we'll get through it, right? So tonight, because we have 3 volunteers, let's just start it. Are you ready? Do you need a few minutes to prepare or anything, Sarah?
Nope, I'm ready for you. All
right, let's bring our first one in. Hi, here is Melissa.
Hi, Sarah.
Melissa.
How are you? Hi, Dale.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
I'm going to sit back and just let you guys do your thing.
Okay.
Great. Sounds good. And you're going to give me the time frame. That would be awesome.
I will keep track of it. Yeah.
Okay. So, Melissa, first things first, I do want to just talk to you about some of the energy and stuff that's been going on around you. Lately, there's been a lot of upheaval in what's been happening for you. So I feel like it's not that you can't get a grasp on things, but just a lot of things have been transpiring. And what we talked about, Auntie Dale and I earlier, about the moon and some of the other planetary things that are happening, and the Mercury retrograde and things like that. I mean, that's really prevalent. But what's been happening for you is like, I feel like you're on a roller coaster and it's like click, 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 click. And there's just this next big thing that's going to happen. So if you've been feeling this kind of energetic kind of pull in a certain direction, upheaval is always a good thing. Change is always a good thing. I'm going to suggest that you go with it. So even though things might not have necessarily come forth all at once, you're going to feel something different and you're going to feel a big change within your life. If you feel that pull to go in any direction, go with it. You know what I mean? Because you can't get off the ride. So you might as well continue to go with it. Okay. So if this makes sense to what you have going on right now, this is what the universe is saying for me. Okay, fantastic. So with my medium readings or my mediumship readings, I do use cards a lot just to help me pinpoint and what's going on. Okay. So I am going to pull a couple of cards just so we can get some clear idea as to who needs to come through for you today. I do have a gentleman that is here, and his name, he keeps saying the name David or D. So if this makes sense to you in your life, and sometimes what happens with a mediumship reading, it's not necessarily directed at you, it can surround you. So the people who live with you or the people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, once that light is on, they are coming at me. So what happens is it's like whoever is going to come through is who's ever going to come through. Does that name ring a bell? And it can be first name, can be a middle name. The name David has been thrown at me. Auntie Dale, if this belongs to you in any way, then go ahead and shout it out, because you know how this happens. Sometimes it happens in a way that we can understand and describe it, and sometimes we're like, I don't know what that's about, but here it is.
Yeah, it does mean something to me.
Okay, well then that is okay. We're gonna put a pin in that, because what's happening is that's coming through for you. Okay, because once that light is on, like it's all systems go. They're gonna come through in whatever way they possibly can. So I'm gonna ask that energy be pushed to the side for just a minute, very politely. So David is coming through for you. Okay, so put a pin in that. Okay. So Melissa, I do want to talk about some of the family stuff that's been going on for you. I also have a male figure for you. Did you happen to lose your dad, or did your partner lose a dad? Because I do have a father figure who is here for you.
My grandfather was a father figure for me. So that could be it.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So the first card, that I didn't even touch the cards for you in this moment, but there was a card that flipped over, and what I do is I put it aside and I go, it will tell me where it needs to be. Okay. So your grandfather is pointing to this card and he wants me to show it to you. If you know anything about tarot, if you don't know anything about tarot, this card is absolutely going to make sense to you. Okay. Let me see if I can get it to go.
What is
being so shiny? So this is the 10 of Cups. So the 10 of Cups, okay? See how it looks like a rainbow there?
Yeah.
The 10 of Cups is all about family. It's all about tradition. It's about keeping things together. It's all about what needs to happen within your life, right? Your grandfather was a staunch supporter of keeping this family unit all together. This is what he's showing me right now. Whatever's happening within your life, whatever's been going on, you're keeping the peace in what needs to happen for your family. Okay? You might not be making everybody happy. You might not be saying things that make sense to other people within your world, within your circle, but what needs to happen for your own peace of mind in your own family is that needs to continue, right? That tradition of this is what makes sense to us. This is what's going to fulfill us. 10s are a sign of completion. I would not be surprised if you see the number 10 that is coming from your grandfather, if the number 10 makes sense to you in his world, if he was born on the 10th month, 10th day, if you add his digits together and it gets to the number 10, if you see dimes, okay, 10 is going to be the number that he is sending you. And the reason why that is because 10 signify completion. And what we go through in a cycle, okay, is that we want to make sure that we hit all the marks, right? And we want to make sure that we go through all the changes and all the things before we get to the other side and we go, I'm glad that I did it the way that I did it. I'm glad that I did that movement in the way that I did it. It makes sense to me, right? It's my life cycle. It's my cycle of change, however you want to look at it. So what he is giving me, he's like nonstop trying to talk to me too. I don't know if he was like this on this plane, but he was. He wants to have a big conversation with me. He wants to get into the nitty gritty. He wants to talk about all of the things. He's also giving a 4-leaf clover to give to you. So I don't know if you equate that to him or to his wife. Does that make sense? Because he's giving it to her. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
No, not a 4-leaf clover.
Okay. It looks like a 4-leaf clover to me is what he's handing me, but he's giving it to her. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily have to be that exact thing. It looks like the shape of that. So if there was a special flower, if it was like a basil leaf, it was like whatever, right? He's giving it to her. Okay. What? So I don't know if she had a special flower.
Oh, is there 4? Is there 4?
It can be 4. Sometimes the message isn't always so clear that we're like,
so
oh yeah.
4 peas in a pod used to be like a big thing. It was so like a big
giving me thing. It's like, yep. So he's giving me, it looks like, like a 4-leaf clover. So what he's saying is that it's all together. Okay. So this could be and again, I'm a human being. I can't always connect for exactly what they mean, but sometimes it makes sense to you. So that's why I say it like I say it, right? Some people will be like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. And then I'll go, I don't know, it's a casserole, it's a casserole, it's a casserole. Oh, she used to make a lasagna. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes we got to kind of sort through and figure out what it means. Also, I want to say, now, do you have a son?
Yes.
Okay. So your grandfather is all about your son. Okay. Your grandfather he's all about your son. He keeps turning the light on and turning the light on for your son. So I don't know if your son witnesses this or, sees that and he's like, I turned the light off. What does that mean? Your grandfather is literally trying to get him to recognize that he is there because he spends a lot of time with your son. How old is your son?
2. One's 15 and one's 9.
Okay.
Those were his buddies. He called them as buddies. Okay.
I feel like this is the 9-year-old because he is closer to 10. Right? So what?
Okay, yeah.
Talking about the big thing, right? So when does your 9-year-old turn 10?
October.
Okay, 10.
Which is the 10th month.
10th month.
10th month. Okay, so this is why he's giving me now your younger guy. We're just going to call him your younger guy, okay?
Yep.
Your younger guy has a lot of things that are happening within his life. And sometimes when I talk about the upheaval and some of the things, right? So your younger guy might be going through some changes within his life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's learning stuff. Maybe it's, you know what I mean? Your grandfather is saying, I am right there with him. Right there with him. Right there with him. Okay? So when he's showing me he's turning the light on and off, it's like he's trying to illuminate what your son needs to pay attention to versus what he doesn't need to pay attention to. Right? Okay. Because if he's going through some junk where he's trying to figure out where he needs to be in life, sometimes they get, and I have a 10-year-old daughter, I totally understand. Yep. Sometimes they get stuck in this way of this is what it should look like, but we know that that's not where they should be. They should look someplace else. Like, don't worry about that. That's not going to matter, but he can't. So what your grandfather is doing is turning the light on and off so that he can see where he needs to be. Okay. So, and I wanna say also that your grandfather and your grandmother, or there is a lady figure who is with him right now. Sometimes it's not always who you think it is.
Yeah.
They're together. He is holding her hand. He is with her 150% all of the time as well.
That's his
and I
mom.
think okay, holding
Yeah,
her
definitely.
hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is right there with her. You know exactly who I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
there's a lady figure that is there as well. Sometimes, again, when we have this love, it transcends, right? It doesn't look like marriage in the sense of a romantic sense or romantic, but what they show me is that love there. That's why I
Yeah.
picked that up as that. So what he is showing me is that he's literally holding her hand. She's
Yeah.
not as involved with your son, and that's
Right.
okay. That's
Yep, she
okay
wouldn't be.
because right now, because right now what's happening is that your grandfather is more of that presence that he is needed. It's like
Yep.
sometimes we just need affirmation from the other side, or we just need some sort of clarity or just a little bit of insight as to where we need to be. And I would not be surprised if your almost 10-year-old son sees your grandfather a lot in certain things or is reminded but can't pinpoint exactly what that looks like. You
Okay.
could, because you spent a lot of time,
Yeah.
right? So but he can't, but that's okay. So what I'm saying is that what's happening with him is that he has a lot of divine guidance.
Okay.
Okay. So because you cannot have eyes on him at all times, there's a lot of divine guidance that is helping him make cognitive decisions for himself
Okay.
because we can't be there all of the time.
Right.
Okay. So you have to pray and you just hope and you put faith that the universe is going to provide in the ways that make sense. And so what's happening is that your grandfather is literally telling me that this is so. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to pull another card just so we can have a
Yeah.
little bit more clarity. Okay. So I have 2 3s. Okay. So I've got 2 3s. I have the collaboration card, which is the 3 of Pentacles, and then I have the 3 of Cups. So if your son is going through something within his life that 3 is a crowd and things are happening and things are changing, but at the same time, he feels more secure in what he's doing with this 3 or with this kind of environment, right? Then we know that we have to realize where that thin line is of this is not exactly the best intention for me, but I'm enjoying it for what that it is. So if he's having a hard time with school and social environments as well as what's happening at home, that could be your big 3 in that way. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean? It's hard to figure out and fit that all in, especially when you have things going on that's in school or here or here or here, and it's hard to kind of figure out who you need to be as a person to be kind of, and as an adult we struggle with that as well, right? We take
Yeah.
work home with us. We take family situations into work. We talk about different things in our world that kind of you know um cross the board a little bit. And I think that what's
Mm-hmm.
happening with your little guy is that he's trying to factor in all of these different things that happen within his world and how he can kind of be an effective part of all of it and
Mm-hmm.
not take it all with him all of the time because that's difficult for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 in the number itself isn't concerning to me because your grandfather is literally throwing tens on top of that, meaning that this cycle is going to change. This
Okay.
is going to end. We're going to get to the other side of this. We're going to learn our lessons. We're going to be where we need to be. Okay. So don't worry about all the insignificant things. Okay. Because what's
Okay.
3 times 3 is 9. And that means we're almost there, right? If we're looking at
Yeah.
all the numbers, right? We're almost there. We're almost there. And what
Oh,
your son has going for him, and I didn't mean this to be a reading strictly for him, but I feel like
no, it's
this
okay.
is what your grandpa, and as a mom, I get it. You know what? Sometimes it's not for us, and because we put a lot
Yep.
of energy and love into our babies, so that's what happens is that they get everything that we
Yep.
intended for us sometimes, right? So coming to that conclusion of what's happening for him is that we'll get to the other side of this. We'll learn the lessons that we need to learn. We'll get to the point where he will understand what
Okay.
happened and
Good.
why it happened and how he can kind of change himself accordingly. Okay. What
Okay.
happens, and again, just to touch on the fact that he's got more love than anybody could have, right? That's not even a question.
Yeah.
That's not something we're even gonna try to figure out. He has enough love and he's got just whatever he needs in the sense of what we can provide for that emotional fulfillment is there, and it comes in the form of love. He's
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how to love himself and all of this stuff, if this makes
Yeah.
sense to you. Okay.
Yeah. No, it
All
totally does.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me or anything that I could help you kind of get some clarity or any sort of answer for?
Do you have anything that you see about that last day? So I was there for his last day, and
For your grandfather's last day?
yeah, and a part of it
Okay.
like kind of haunts me, but part of it gives me peace. Do you see
Okay.
anything at all?
Yep, I can. Yep, and I can understand. And the reason why we do not, and it's, I'm not saying we as in like, there's a whole bunch of us in here. The reason why as human beings we hold on to things that we do and do not do within the passing or transition with somebody is because we're still here, right? So we have to deal
Mhm.
with that. We have to live with it. We have to do all of that. Your grandfather did not talk about any of the stuff because it doesn't affect him.
Mhm.
He
Okay.
he doesn't worry about that. So whatever has transpired that you carry like a burden on you, you have to release it.
Okay.
It has, and I'm not telling you that you have to do any, you have free will in the sense of you can do whatever it makes sense to you, but
Yeah.
just know that on the other side, there's there's no animosity, there's no woulda, shoulda, coulda, there's nothing like that. It's
Yeah.
nothing but pure love. It's
Okay.
nothing but pure love that he has. So whatever transpired that you did not like, you as the human being have to carry it. And you
Okay.
have been. So if we talk about your son in the sense of completion and these tens, take that as a lesson for yourself.
Okay.
Okay? Because that's not a burden that you need to carry for the rest of your life. He doesn't have any say in any of that now. It happened the way that it happened. It wasn't the right thing. It wasn't the wrong thing. It just happened.
Mhm.
And you carry it in your heart. And that's not how he would have wanted you to kind of live the rest of your days in this way.
Right. Right.
So other mediums do other things. Okay. So some people, what they do is they will connect with the death in order to bring it to the living,
Yeah.
right? I choose not to do it sometimes because they don't want to be remembered for that. They
Okay.
want to talk about all the wonderful things that they have. They want to talk about the love, the four peas in a pod. They want to talk about all of that beautiful, sentiment that you have throughout your life. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we as the living have to carry a lot of the things that this one didn't say this at this time. This one did this. I wasn't
Yeah.
there for this, but I did this. Right? They don't think about that stuff. They're in the
Yeah.
best place they could possibly be with no sickness, no illness, no health. I mean, no health issues, no any sort of worry or sorrow. They're in the best
Yeah.
place they can be. It's utmost love. It's unconditional love in
Yeah.
all senses and forms. So whatever that you carry with you, I want to invite you to let that go in the way that makes sense to you.
Okay.
Okay? Because your grandfather did not bring it to my attention. And this is not something that we really need to hash out in the sense
Okay.
of that you need clarity for, except for the fact that I'm telling you, it happened. Let it go. Be
Yeah.
like Elsa. I'm not gonna sing the song because right? But be
Yeah.
like in that way of it serves no purpose in your life except to bring a knot into your stomach and to
Yeah.
make you feel bad. And nobody wants to, especially not him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never,
No, you're
never.
3
Okay.
minutes,
So the
Sarah.
other okay.
3
So the
minutes.
other thing that he is talking about now, do you have a tattoo on you or do you have like a symbol on you for him?
yes. Oh my
Okay, he wants to
God.
talk
Yeah.
about that. Okay, he wants to talk about that. Does it have a bird in it, or is there birds or something like that? Okay, because he's showing me
No,
it. Is it a
but I got
tree? Is it with birds? If it's something like in that sense of it's got a
it's a
bird can
bug.
land in it.
It's a bug.
Okay, so flying insect. Okay, fantastic. Okay.
It's a car. It's a Volkswagen Bug. It was our
Oh
thing.
my god.
Yeah, and I got a tattoo, and
Not a
he.
flying insect.
Yeah, no.
Although Herbie the love bug did fly. Remember that?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
loved that when I was a kid. Okay, so he is pointing to this tattoo. Do you have multiple tattoos? Not just for him, but do you have
yeah.
multiple tattoos on your body? Okay, do you have a bird on you? Or do you have anything that is
Do
in
I
flight?
have a bird?
You're like,
Yes,
let
I
me think
believe it.
about
Yeah, I do.
okay.
I do.
Okay. 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 So Herbie the love bug, I love it, or the bug in general. I love that. That's amazing that you have that for him. He he is pointing to this other tattoo. Do you have them for your sons or do you have them for somebody else
Yes.
within? Okay. Okay. See, again, what he's doing is he's excluding himself from that, and he's pointing to what's important, right?
Yeah.
The things, the unconditional love that he has. He doesn't even care. Okay, that's great that you have a tattoo for me, but I want to talk about the other one, right? You
Okay.
know, so he wants to talk about those 2 tattoos or whatever it is that you have of your children.
Yeah.
He loves them.
The tattoos or the children?
Both of them. I mean, all sets. But he loves that you did that. He loves
Okay.
that you did that. Okay?
Okay.
He is pointing to that and going like this. Like,
Oh,
I love
okay.
that. Okay? And I'm sure
Yep.
that the bug too, but he's pointing to that in specific. So if
Yeah.
you were thinking about altering them or changing them or adding to them, I would say do it, because he's
Okay.
saying, you know, he loves that. Continue
Okay.
that. Be part of that. Right?
Alright.
He may not have done that on this plane, but he's doing it there because it makes sense
Yeah.
to you,
On this
right?
plane, he always had something to say about it was not
On
good.
this plane, right? Exactly. But
Yeah.
over there, totally different, because it brings you joy, right?
Okay.
There's no animosity or jealousy or anger or there's nothing over there.
Yeah.
Not like this. So if it brings you joy and it's putting a needle to skin, then absolutely do the things that
Yeah.
make you happy. And if those tattoos or that tattoo makes you happy and you want to rework it, by all means,
That's
do it.
great.
Do
Okay.
it in honor of him as well. Okay?
Oh, thank you
Does
so
that make
much.
sense to you tonight? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
it
you're
really
so
did.
welcome.
It did.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Melissa.
Thanks.
That was fabulous.
Thank you.
That was fabulous. So is
Thank
David
you.
still around?
No, he's not.
Huh.
And that's okay, because her family member needed to come forward
Yeah.
and talk. And again, we're only doing this for 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes at a time. So
Right.
honestly, we could continue and keep going and going and going.
Oh,
And
God,
some
yeah.
of my readings are like that, but you get what you get. You know what I mean? You get what you need, not necessarily what you want in a
Right.
short amount of time.
Right.
Right. So we're going to go with it.
Okay. Are you ready for the next one, my friend?
I'm ready.
All righty. Hi, Missy.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good.
Nice to
Missy,
see
this
you.
is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Missy.
Nice to meet you.
you. Have you done this before?
No.
Okay. All right. And
I've been in like a group. I've been in like a group reading, but not like a tarot.
Yes, I was
card.
gonna say,
Yeah.
have you done like a gallery style in like a Matt Fraser or
Yes.
Roland?
Roland.
Okay.
Yes, Roland.
Roland.
Yes. Actually,
Okay.
Matt Fraser too. Yeah, both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because what the universe is saying to me is that this is not a new concept for you, in the sense of talking to your loved ones and people that have passed. Okay. What I do want to preface with what I am going to say, it's a different energy than the last reading that I had. This one is a little bit more somber. That does not mean that, it is sad in nature. It's just a little bit more serious. Okay.
Okay.
The last reading, I'm not sure if you heard that or if you were present for that. It was a little bit more upbeat in different ways. I'm not saying that this one is good, bad, or indifferent. It's just a different kind of energy, and we're going to go with it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Does this make sense to you? Okay. And this could be that the person that we are trying to get in touch with is also a little bit more serious in nature because of some of the things that are going on. Right. That's okay. It happens. Sometimes we need a lot of direction, and sometimes we need a lot of love, and sometimes we need a lot of this is okay. And sometimes we just get what we need to get. Right. So I also have cards, because I'm pulling cards to make sure that I'm doing the right thing, and clarity for myself as well. I have 2 different situations that have been going on right now. Okay. And so and this is just an invitation for you to look at things in your own perspective to make that change to go forward, because I do have the death card. The death card does not mean that people are going to die. It means that the situation has to die in order for other things to be reborn and come forward. Okay. So what I'm going to say with all of this is that, unfortunately, what has transpired when you have lost your loved one, and I do have a younger person who is here. Okay. So if this makes sense to you, right? Sometimes a tragic event, or sometimes an event that is a person of younger stature is taken away from us, we really hold on to that and we really kind of reevaluate ourselves in a different way and we really look at things a little bit differently. Okay. So because we think about all of these things within this younger person, what could have been, right? What should have been, what could have been in this world and what we missed, right? And as human beings, we carry that burden, just like I said before, but at the same time, what happens too is we have to make sure that we are true to ourselves and we're living the best version of ourselves that we possibly can. Okay, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm so sorry that you feel this way, because believe me, I feel exactly what is happening, and I'm sure Dale does as well. Okay, if I could give you a big hug right now, I would. But I do want to say that understanding that all of the woulda, coulda, shouldas when it comes to all the outcomes of this person in your life and what could have happened, I want you to realize that this energy lives on. Okay? You see it all the time. Okay? Does this make sense to you? You
Yeah.
see it, and this energy is fiery, just like it was here. Okay? Just like it.
Yep.
Okay? So what
Mhm.
happens is you'll see the signs, you'll see the numbers, you'll see the affirmations, you'll see the angel stuff, especially. Oh my God, all of the angel stuff that they're giving you. Do you have like a collection or like a bunch of different things that have like angels or wings or something on them that people like just want to give you and stuff? Does
No.
anybody in your family have that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, okay, because I feel like not only are we looking at the tangible items, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of things within, your decor or people have given you that have either that significance of that angelic realm or the other side. And if you don't recognize it right now, that's okay. You
Okay.
might start to pick up things and people might start to figure things out for you. And we're just going to leave it at that, okay? We don't need a tour of what's happening within your home, of course. But this energy was never going to be tamped down. Okay. So this
Mhm.
younger person could have never been stopped, could have never been, it was like, again, all systems go. There was never any way that this individual could ever end in this way. Like it was just so, impassioned and so, just so fiery in what that it was. And this drive was there and all of these things that have happened. That doesn't stop. So what I mean when I say you may not get the solace that you're looking for in the sense of these are the answers, this is the thing, this is what transpired, this is what could have happened, right? You probably never
Yeah.
will. You probably will never understand the ins and the outs and the this and the that. But that's okay because I want you to know that that energy still surrounds you. And what's happening is that it's still as, magnetic as it was when it was here.
Okay.
Okay. So the number 8 is coming to mind with this person. So I don't know if 8 makes sense to you on the 8th day, the 8th month, if they were born and a year ending in 8. But the number 8 is really significant because what the number 8 shows us is that energy, if we change it up to the sideways, it turns into the infinity symbol. The energy
Mhm.
never stops,
Okay.
never stops. So you might feel like you're falling apart. You know what? Wait a minute, because what's going to happen is you're going to come back around again. Okay.
Okay.
So 8 in my tarot world is also strength. So you had to become the strongest version of yourself after that moment. You had to do all of the things. You had to pick up all of the weight. You had to do all of the things in the sense of have this kind of mentality that I'm going through this in the way that I need to go through this. And I'm helping everybody to effectively move along the way that I need to. I'm not saying that this transpired in the sense that this taught you a lesson, but it absolutely taught you to be the best version of yourself. Are you entitled to fall apart? Absolutely, you are entitled to fall apart. We cannot be 100% all the time. We have to see the dark in order to see the light. And so if you are going through this period of time right now, I'm going to give you some time that you're going to understand that you'll feel better. You're not going to feel the best, but you're going to figure out what you need to do with that energy, okay?
Okay.
Also, the number 4 is coming into place. Now, are there 4? So 8s are double 4, right? We know this. So the number 4 is coming into place for you. Okay.
So
Does this
my
make
daughter-
sense to you? Your daughter is 4. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We don't need to. And sometimes what happens, especially within a reading like this, is that it's very sensitive in nature, like I said. And you're sitting here in front of me live on, a
Yeah.
podcast that we're talking about this stuff. And we don't need to go into crazy detail in order to validate what's being said to you. Right.
So my
I
daughter's
just-
birthday is August 4th, which is 8.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. All right. So
And she was
you
very
take this
close-
as you
very
need.
close to my friend.
Okay. Okay. So this makes a lot of sense of why. Okay. So this, I have to tell you that we do go through a lot of things that change us for the worse as well as change us for the better. We have to realize where that is and where that fine line is in order to step over to the other side. So what you are trying to kind of, maneuver here is you're trying to find the grace in all of this to be strong, not only for your family, especially for your daughter who had a close connection to this loved one, but
Mhm.
also for yourself. And it's hard to do all of that.
Her
what
birthday
I'm
was on the
saying to
4th
you-
as well, which I think Buddy's trying
Yeah.
to tell me.
Oh, okay.
Her birthday, Heather's birthday was also on the 4th. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So I think that what I'm trying to tell you in all of this is that you are only as strong as you can be, and it's okay to give yourself some moments of weakness in this. I do want to show you that there are other things. Now, if this person's name is Heather, okay, correct?
Yes.
The energy that Heather, she was just on point all the time. So walk into a room, you knew that she was there, and this is the way that she is now. She walks into your house and you can feel her in your house. You know what I mean? It's like the movies when you open up the window and the air comes flying at you, right? It's like that's exactly the way when she's around. Things happen, And what I mean by things happening is that the lights will go on and off, or something will happen that's like a door will slam and nobody's been in that room. She lets you know that she is very present. Again, that up energy, there is a time for down as well. So what we do witness with this is that sometimes when you are picking up the pieces and you are talking to her, because she is saying that you talk to her all the time, she hears it all the time, all the time. As you're doing stuff around your house, you're talking to her. You may not say these things out loud, but she can hear everything that you say. She can hear everything. It's like, were you guys like best buds where you would talk on the phone or you would just talk throughout the day? Like conversations that you're just talking to her about, as you're picking up the shoes off the floor or you're making dinner or whatever, you're like constantly thinking about talking to her and sending her something or talking. She hears all of that. That conversation hasn't stopped. Even though that person is not here on this plane, that conversation has not stopped. Her energy is still just as large and in charge as it was here. Okay. Do you also have a son, or does she have a son?
Neither.
No boy around you?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I don't know where that person is coming from for you. And I'm not going to, what I think it is that there is how do I say this? So there is a child involved here. So what I mean by that, it doesn't mean that anybody has lost a child. Maybe it was something that happened. Maybe there was a miscarriage. Maybe there was something, she is showing me that there is a younger male energy there. So there is a boy there. We don't need to get into that. Sometimes they show me. So it will make sense. If it makes sense, you can put it in your pocket. If it doesn't, that's okay too. I don't want to air out anybody's business. You know what I mean? And we get what we get sometimes, right? We can't always figure out where it is. I have to say the thing. Like I said before, if it's lasagna, it's going to be lasagna. So we don't have a choice in all of that. So the conversation hasn't stopped, okay? So she's continuously talking about this conversation. She's also talking about music. Did you guys go to concerts or go to shows or go to things together? Because she is talking about keep doing that. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to go see Taylor Swift?
Yes.
Okay, go. Have fun. Shout her name when you're screaming and yelling. Do you know what I mean? Like, just like you would. Like, she's right there with you. She's singing the song. She's right there with you. She's doing all of those things. Okay. Because what is happening with this is that even though her energy, in the sense of like her body is not here, her energy still is. And she's still witnessing all of the things that you are doing. You're still having those open-ended conversations with her. Okay. So don't think that it has to stop. It doesn't. You just have to figure out where the point is that you realize that sometimes you can't fix it, but you can make it what it needs to be for yourself, right? You can be like, this, as sad as all of this is, and as crazy as it all has transpired, I still know that she's here. And that kind of brings me some sort of peace in all of this as well. Okay.
Yeah. And it
There's
does.
there's a lot of things that she would want to talk to you about. And I would absolutely meet with you again, and we can kind of do this in not a public setting. If this would make sense to you, just contact me and we can continue this conversation, because there's a lot of things that she does want to talk about, okay, that I just don't think is necessarily open for a public forum, okay? So we're going to just leave it at that, because there's a lot of inside jokes and a lot of private things that she wants to talk about with you. And, you know what they are. I don't need to know what they are right now, but there's a lot more conversation that needs
Why
to
am
go.
I not surprised? Sounds like Heather.
Okay. Okay. And then the other thing that I do want to talk about is that there is a gentleman that is there with her. Did she lose a father or a grandfather? Because he is standing right by her side. I'm not sure if this is your person, but literally she's bringing him to the forefront and saying, like, he's been with me the whole time. I haven't been alone. I wasn't alone. I didn't come up here alone. He's been right here with me. Does this make sense for you?
No, I mean, she had lost a grandfather at some point. I mean, I don't know.
So you don't know. Okay. All right. Because what she's saying is that whatever transpired, she wasn't alone. She had somebody right by her side that was helping her, because she's literally showing me. It's like, she's going, here he is. He was right here. And so, like, literally she's walked into something that has somebody of her love, a loved one of hers that has been there for her. Okay. And again, if you don't know that, then that's okay too. We don't always have to figure that out. But she was not alone in what has transpired. A lot of the things that you are witnessing and that you're kind of feeling within, and you're like, is that her, or is that this, or is that? She would tell you right now. She'd be like, of course it's me. Are you kidding? Of course it's me. So she's literally the funniest person on the planet, because she's like, duh, like, honestly, like, she's not listening. I've been telling her all along, she's not listening. Also, the summer is coming into play. She wants to talk about something else that's going on, not just T-Swift, but something else that's going on within the summer that's important to you guys. Obviously your daughter's birthday is at a certain time, but is there something that's happening, either a celebration, a wedding, a party? Do you guys have a 4th of July party? Like, what do you do in the summer that there's like this big celebration?
Well, it's her birthday. It's my daughter's birthday, and she literally would come to me months before and say, so what are we doing for Gianna's birthday? What are we doing for Gianna's birthday? So that's probably it.
Yes. Okay.
She would torture me with, what are we doing?
Okay. All right. So this is the celebration she wants to talk about. Okay. So it makes a lot of sense that you continue in the same tradition that she would want. If there needs to be a water slide, if there needs to be a bonfire, if there needs to be s'mores, if there needs to be something that brings everybody together in the way that she would want it to be, then that's absolutely it. Are you getting a band? Are you thinking about having somebody play music there?
No.
No. Okay. Would she have played music there? Because she wants to talk about the music.
No.
No, like, I'm not saying that she like played an instrument, but if she
was
the one who provided the playlist.
She was very into music, so I mean, that may just be.
I'm not saying that you need to spend money on a band. Don't take that in that way. I think that what she is trying to say is try to keep it as upbeat as she would have, right? Because if she's the mastermind or the DJ with the playlist that brings the speaker and that's what's been playing all along, continue that. Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised if even if you put on Pandora and it was shuffle and it was all of her favorite songs, because she's going to make sure that she's at this celebration. Okay. Because what she's going to do is you're going to see those signs are not like droplets. They're like literal hail bombs. They're going to come in the way that she would have come. Like I said, Open the door and she's right there. You can feel her energy. You know she's there.
Sarah, 3
Okay.
minutes, hon.
Okay. So, Missy, do you have any questions or anything? I know we were kind of like all about and roundabout, and there's obviously way more that we can talk about at another time off camera. So again, I would, absolutely say contact me whenever and we can continue this conversation. But is there anything in particular that you needed to know or that you were looking for?
Yeah, so I've been getting signs, so I don't know if this is something you can find out. I've been getting signs like it literally comes through, and this is the weirdest thing. It literally comes through on my car and it says text message from Heather. So it could just be a glitch. But it literally
based on all that I just said about literally you know that she is around.
Yeah, it's very blatant.
Exactly. It's not a glitch. It's not a coincidence. It's absolutely her. Like I said to you, did you talk to her all day long? Those text messages would have come through all day long. They're still coming.
Mm-hmm.
They're still coming. You're having this conversation with her, thinking about all the things that you would share with her. They're still happening. It's happening on either side. So like I said, it's not coming through like droplets. It's coming through like hailstorm. It's coming through like big things that are just
it's
happening,
literally saying like, here I am. And
right, exactly. So if you see that flash across your screen on your car, there ain't no denying that, right?
What a beautiful gift, Missy. What a beautiful gift. Like, wow.
Excuse me.
That's amazing.
So Buddy just said her phone has been off for years.
Right. And it doesn't come up under her number. It just only in my car. Like it just says it in my car. And it's very strange.
It's not a glitch. Even if you got it fixed or reset or whatever, it would absolutely continue to happen. It would continue to happen. Absolutely. There is no way.
I think her energy is just that strong.
Right.
She is like, again, it's, remember Seinfeld and when Kramer would walk through the door?
Yes.
Oh my God. Like that's what she walks through the door. Like she doesn't walk through tiptoe.
No.
She walks
through no. You knew when Heather was here.
Yep. But the other thing that I do want to recognize is that because we started off very somber in nature, it was because that, not that you needed to pay attention, because that's kind of what happens. We get stuck in this kind of rut of looking down when it comes to our grief sometimes, that we don't look up and we don't see a lot of those signs. So I think that's kind of why we started off in this somber way, because that's the way that you were feeling and you still continue to feel this way. It affects you. It hurts you. You're going through all the stages of grief. She doesn't tolerate that. She's not going to let you do that. She's going to walk through the door and bang it open and talk about all the things because that's who she is. And she's going to say, come on, let's go. Let's go. Right? She's not going to be that person who's going to let you wallow because that's not who she is. So continue to keep your head up and look for those signs, because if you think it's a coincidence from her, it's absolutely not. She'd be the first person to tell you that.
Yes.
What a lovely energy though. Like she knew how to get everything started. She knew how to kind of have that fiery energy of like, here we go. It's all there. It's all working. Right?
Yes.
So continue to think about that in a very positive way. Okay. Because she still surrounds you with that light, that intense energy in that light. Okay. Okay. Does this make sense to you tonight?
Yes. 100%.
Okay, good. Thanks, Missy.
Thank you so much,
I'm
Missy.
honored. Thank
you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Wow. Heather's energy is amazing. She goes. And you know, the thing about the music, Sarah, I didn't want to interrupt you, but Heather had made a tape for Buddy singing. So I bet you it had something to do with that. She was very proud of that tape she made for Buddy with all his favorite songs on it.
And I think that that's incredible. And I think that the reason why Missy is kind of going through what she's going through, and there needs to be space for that. Yeah. But at the same time, that she's dealing with her grief in the way that she knows how. But Heather wouldn't allow that to happen.
No.
She's like, nope.
Nope.
But there's a lot of things that we could talk about off camera. And I think, that's important to kind of acknowledge as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. One more, my friend. You ready?
All right. Let's do it.
All right. Hi, Amanda. How are you?
Hello.
Amanda, this is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you.
It's
So
a
I'm gonna step back
pleasure.
and let her do her thing because wow, she's on fire tonight.
It's been good.
I'm on fire.
Yeah.
You are on
Yeah.
fire.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Amanda. Okay. So I'm gonna pull a couple cards just to get a little bit of clarity and see what direction we're going in, because I feel like you have, all right, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? You do not necessarily have human energy that is by your side right now. Does this make sense to you? I'm not saying ET. I'm
No,
saying
I know.
if you lost a pet, or if you have a family pet that has passed away, because you are being protected and guarded by animals within your life. I don't know if you're like Snow White, where you can go outside and be like, oh, there's a bunny over there, and the bunny looks at you, and like it's like a connection. Okay.
So we have a
Is
really
this you?
well. I have a bird feeder outside my classroom. We've had a bunny, a chipmunk, and cardinals that kind of hang out all day long.
And they hang out for you.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks.
Your energy. You know how Snow White would go outside and she'd be singing it. Not that you need to go sing a song, but like, you go outside and have this kind of beautiful energy. And hold the thought 1 second, because I'm at my parents' house and I'm just gonna do this. Let's see if we can. Nope.
Oh, hello, kitty.
Hi.
Oh, hi,
She's like,
kitty.
what is this? Okay. She
Hi.
hasn't come up here for anyone else, and I've been talking. Okay. So if that's not affirmation of what we're talking about,
That's weird.
so what I do want to talk to you about is that sometimes the most purest form of protection and energy, in the sense of when either people or animals or babies or older folks or whoever you want to say feel the most connected and safe with somebody, you'll feel that energy. And Amanda, that's what you have. Okay. You are a safe place for a lot of different situations and a lot of different kind of energies in general. Okay. So you might not have lost pets, but boy, are they connected to you, because what you provide is a pureness, right? You have no ulterior motive. You're not trying to hurt anybody. You're not trying to make anybody feel any sort of way. What you're with this great, beautiful light. So I don't know if you do any sort of light work or if you do anything when it comes to the metaphysical, but if you are doing any sort of teaching or healing or support or any of that nature, then this is really important that you've chosen that as your profession, because it's the best thing you could possibly do with what you have. Some people get into a profession and they go, oh, I want to be this, I want to be that, but then they hate it, right? And then they can't stand it, and they're like, I wasn't cut out for this. You are absolutely cut from a different kind of cloth, because what you provide is a lot of safe place. Okay. So you're going to get, that younger, kind of more impressionable energy to feel safe with you. So if you are any sort of healing or teaching modality, then this makes sense. Okay. Now, do you teach, or do you teach adults, or what do you do?
I teach second grade.
Okay. Huge thing. Because what happens too is that they're at this point where they're really trying to figure out who they are, and they're babies anymore, and they're not big kids yet, and they're trying to figure out, and sometimes we might have an accident, and sometimes we might not understand the rules, and sometimes right? So we have to look at them at all different stages and hold space for them and say, you know what, you're a person and you're growing, and I like that about you. So even though this might not have a lot to do with mediumship, or it might not have a lot to do with some of our loved ones who have crossed over, I do want to say that you are in the best place that you could possibly be, because what you're doing is you're effectively helping people move themselves along on their journeys and their transition. So that's fantastic. Okay. So if you are kind of feeling in a rut about, oh my God, obviously all the changes that have happened post COVID, right? Am I burnt out? Am I this? Am I that? Honestly, you're in the best place. I would send my kids to go to school with you, because that's how great of an energy that you have. Okay. So pat yourself on the back for that one. Okay. But I do feel that there's a lot of younger connection to you when it comes to the other side as well. Sometimes what have some sort of light, or we have this ability for people, is that when that light goes on or when the door is open, then everything that is meant to be for you comes in. And it might not necessarily be our loved ones. So I would not be surprised if you hear other things or see other things that have no connection to you as a human being or to your loved ones. Because what is happening is that on this side of the world, on this plane, you are connecting with that younger energy. You're going to connect with it on the other side as well. So if you've had dreams with kids that you do not know or people that you do not like, this would make sense of why this happens. Do you ever have things like that have transpired?
Yeah, through Reiki sections. Excuse me,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm battling a cold.
No, it's okay.
Constantly see a girl with braids sitting under a tree, and I have no idea what it means.
Yep. And that's okay. And I want to tell you, you don't have to figure it out. Okay. You don't have to figure it out. Just know that that energy, and some people would say, oh, that's your inner child. That's this, that's that. You can kind of look at
Face, I see 2 braids, and I have no idea.
There you go. So this energy could be one of your totems, or I'm not with totems, one of your word escaped brain. Dale, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm trying to say? Guides.
Spirit guides.
Right. There it is. Can be, and I was like, totem, that's not it. I'm still in the animal thing. But right? But this can be that what you are experiencing is that this energy is connected to you because of what you do on this plane, because of what you project out into the universe, right? So you will always kind of see her. You'll always kind of see a younger kind of person. Don't be afraid of that, and don't try to pinpoint who that is, because sometimes not knowing is the best, right? It's the best case scenario, because you can pick out a name for her and be like, that's who she is to me. That's who she is. She's just one of my people up there. Fantastic. That's great. So when it comes to you and loved ones, I am going to pull a card so I get some clarity of where we need to go, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
I'm going to go right in the middle. Okay. So the loved one that is coming forth for you, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a lot of, I don't want to say heartache and that kind of way that would make you feel bad, but there was a lot of unsettled energy when it comes to this person who has passed. There was a lot of things that they were working on and they were making some breakthroughs on, but at the same time, we're kind of in a bit of a setback. Sometimes what this looks like too, it can be memory care issues, or it can be somebody who is going through some mental illness. If this makes sense to you in all of this, then what's happening is that this person is coming through kind of just to recognize that. There were a lot of things that I worked on. There are a lot of things that I was trying to do for myself, but I couldn't necessarily hit all of those marks or check off all of those boxes. Does this make sense to you? Okay. Sometimes what happens too is that this can be somebody around you. So if you are married, if this is your partner's person, they're going to come. Again, we talked about you having that light. They're going to come through. Does this make sense for your partner or anybody else around you?
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes we can't help it. We get what we get. We can't get upset because this is a message from the other side. Okay. So this person going through the mental stuff and trying to figure out, just know that they are in the best case scenario for themselves, right? They are in the highest and best that they possibly can be, where there is no, mental anguish or heartache or, setback or anything of that nature. So if you want to relay that message along, you're welcome to do that. Okay. Sometimes this happens within the world and there isn't an answer. And that's okay that we don't have an answer, because what we can hope and believe and trust is that they are in the best place that they could possibly be for themselves. Okay. So go ahead and take that info and bring it along to who needs it. Okay. Thank you so much for doing that. So and again, if you are that person, sometimes you're that conduit, and sometimes you don't always get what you're looking for. Happens to me all the time. And
A lot of times that I've done these, it's very similar too. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't be discouraged. Okay?
No, oh no, definitely not at all.
No, because what happens is, as a conduit or as that light, what happens is that you get everybody else's messages and you don't get any of your own. Because why that is because your people are around all the time and you can bear witness to everything that they're doing, right? I see my favorite person as my grandmother. I see her everywhere. everywhere. So in order for me to get a message from her, that would be like, she's not going to come through with me for me because she's all over the place, literally all over the place. I look up, I see her initials. I look over here, I see my initials, and I know that she's sending it to, like, it's like all these things that kind of, so I'm not going to get necessarily the message that is directly what I want to hear from her, but I just know that she's around. So I kind of feel that this is kind of where you are sometimes, not all of the time, but don't get discouraged, because if you're the conduit, you're supposed to relay that message as need be, okay? But let's see if we can't figure out. So I'm going to break my rule, and I'm going to ask you to give me the name of the person that you're trying to connect, so I can try to pull on them and see if they want to come forth for you. Okay.
Oh, that's a loaded question, because I wasn't really looking for anyone in particular. I honestly just kind of wanted to see like where this would go. Because like you were saying, I feel like, so I don't know if I can ask this now, but I wanted to ask because in that very first reading, I always think, right, like I know I came in last to the stream, but I always believe in the universe and there's an order for things. That reading, I could have taken half of what you said, and I was scribbling notes down because the number 4, you just mentioned your grandmother, like you talked about struggle of a child and school setting and what, like, and I was like, oh, that's the wrong reading. That's mine. Like, that's what I was thinking. So I don't have a person. I just love it all. I just want to take it all in. I want to hear, I do, like, I want to, but I do like, could I say, yes, tell my grandmother to send me a set, tell my father-in-law, like, I don't, but like you're saying, if I have something to tell my kids from somebody or my husband, or I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that.
I think that honestly, sometimes what happens is that, especially in a gallery style kind of situation, is that even though we might not be connected where we know that other person, but what I'm telling you and what that person's saying here and what this little conversation is, we take all of that and it is meant for us. It is meant for us. So if you want to take each part of those readings that I just gave other people and say, that's for me, then fantastic. Because you're getting something out of it. And that's the whole purpose of why we do what we do. Because we don't always know what we're going to say or how we're going to say it or where we're going to end up. But we do it because that's what we're called to do. So if you want to take it and use it as your own, then fantastic. A lot of people will say, this is a reading for the collective when they do something like this, or this is what this needs to be, or whatever, right? We can't always pinpoint what that is because we're dumb humans, and what they have to say is so much more incredible that it could kind of blanket everybody and nobody all at the same time, right? So what this mouthpiece is just doing is I'm just effectively trying to get where things need to be, right? So I'm glad that you got something from each of those readings. What I want to say for you, though, is that you have this ability. So maybe the mediumship isn't something that we necessarily needed to dive into for you, but maybe we needed to look at you a little bit differently and have you kind of reflect on yourself. You are a healer. You are a light worker. You might not do it on a day-to-day, but if you are called to do this or do something of this nature in this magnitude, then this is your sign that you need to do that. Okay? Because if you, like I said, if you're the conduit and this person that was stepping forward, because I do see a lot of heartache, mental illness, a lot of things, that has nothing to do with you. That has something to do with somebody else, then you need to effectively give that information to somebody else. That being said, I would not be surprised if you had more that you were able to kind of come forward with based on that little bit of tidbit of information so that you could help somebody else. Okay? So if this is any sort of indication or any sort of sign for you to do more in this world, or to just trust your instincts a little bit more in depth or a little bit more, overall, then absolutely do that, because you're already doing it and you don't even recognize it. Having this animalistic nature to come forward to you, right? That is the most pure, unabashed, innocent, unconditional trust there is. And you do it on a day-to-day basis. You teach second grade and you're still in it and you have this connection. I'm sure there are children that you still think about from the first year you ever taught, that eventually what will happen is they'll find you again and say, you were my favorite teacher because of you made me feel safe. It was the best place I could possibly be, right? This is more than just that. Do you feel that? Do you recognize that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think of students that I work with. I work with some students who have some major trauma, and
you helped them through it, and you did it very gracefully and effortlessly, right? You did it selflessly.
Mhm.
The teachers sometimes are really great and sometimes they're awful, but you are one of the ones that really help people move forward on their journey from a little part of their lives, right? Second grade, right? They're not yet adults, they're not yet big kids, they're still kind of little, and they still do some of the things that little people do, but you give them the grace in order to kind of be themselves and to really work through and learn the lessons and be part of that journey, right? It's not just about teaching a curriculum. It's about holding space for these little people and for holding space for their parents as well. Go ahead, Auntie Dale, what you got?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay.
Oh, and you hit her right on the head because she's one of the best teachers out there that I know of. From a pure heart, she really does.
Yep.
That's the kind of person Amanda is.
So when I tap into that energy and I look at that, and the first thing that comes forth are animals, right? Animals go based on instinct alone always, right?
Yep.
If you are in a situation where an animal comes up to you and loves on you, especially one that's outside in the wild or whatever, right? And looks at you and connects with you, then that energy is pure. And that is what you have. So if you are a conduit and you have messages that you need to give, I would absolutely say conduct yourself in this manner of figuring out how you can do that. Because not everything that we hear is for us to take on. Sometimes it is, and most of the time it's not. Because we have to be able to move it forward. And that's what you do. Do you have any questions or anything that I could help you with on anything really, tarot based or anything like that?
No, I don't. I just came into this very open.
Siri, be quiet. Siri.
Hello, Siri. No,
trying to talk to me, right? So I honestly think that even though this wasn't necessarily the mediumship portion of what the show was about, I think that honestly, that your energy being so pure and what that it is, it's kind of made you feel and be seen in a different light. And if that's, what we needed to kind of talk about, as well as if you've picked up different parts of different readings from tonight and made them your own or kind of held them in a certain area for yourself, then absolutely that's what this was meant to do for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep.
I'm looking, I tried to like side scribble some notes down. But I'm wondering, I'm just that the person that you were saying, I have a student who suffered from a family member. So I'm just wondering if that person's like, hey, I know you got that kid in your classes. I'm here, but not like to portray a message, but you know what I mean? I'm just wondering if it's like kind of like, I see you, I see you with,
yep.
a family member.
And I think that you're right, because I think that this situation, we could talk about all the horror and the gore and the this and the that and the details and the tea and all that. We don't need to do that. But if we know that this person who is connected to your student is in the best place, in the most safest place that they could possibly be, maybe the next time you see that student or you're handling that student or you're working with that student or what have you, you'll have a little bit of grace for them. They won't understand the message if that was the case, but maybe your touch will be a little bit different. Maybe the hug that you give them is going to be a little bit different. Maybe just a little bit more gentle, a little bit more sweet, whatever the case may be, a little bit more understanding in the ways that they're going to take that and be like, oh, Miss Amanda was this to me, and I feel safe here, and I feel good about that. You know what I mean? And then therefore you have literally helped them along on their journey of figuring this stuff out as best as you possibly could have, without saying hey, guess what? Your loved one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Because that wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. But if that is you spend a little extra time or you give an extra hug or an extra high five or whatever you're doing and you just make that little person's day, that's what that message was for. That's what that message was for. Okay? I hope that made sense to you. And you know what? As much as this wasn't exactly what we thought it was what we needed.
But I didn't think it was going to be honest, right? So I love hearing time, and my colleagues at work call me Mother Nature. because I am the one who saves the bees and who will put the spider outside.
Oh my gosh. So there you go. Oh my gosh.
Inside I'm laughing, and I literally stopped teaching and went and got them and said, come see the bunny that's sitting on my wall hanging out outside my classroom.
Okay,
So
there we go. Okay.
it was great. It was honestly, it's great. Anything, it's just nice to hear stuff anyway. So
thank you so much for
you know
joining us,
what?
Amanda.
Yeah.
We really
Yes,
appreciate
thanks,
it.
Amanda. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a good night, hon. Thank you. Are you kidding me? Mother Nature, are you kidding me? Sarah, we
White.
can't make this stuff up. Seriously, we
I
can't.
know it. I know. And
Thank
you know what?
so
And
much. I know we went
you
over
are
a little
so
bit
welcome.
tonight, but it was fabulous. Sarah, you got to come back on again because every time you're
whenever
on,
you want me.
it's amazing.
Whenever you want me. Auntie Gail,
Awesome.
I'm yours whenever.
And everyone who joined us tonight, thank you so much for joining us. And we will be back again next Tuesday night. So namaste. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
Hey, I hope you guys really enjoyed that episode of It's a Legit Metaphysical World with Auntie Dale Beluccio and her guest, Sarah Gagne of La Chat Noir. I didn't mess it up. It's absolutely beautiful. You get everybody else on here, and I can't say anything. So, I can say that of the show, this is probably one of my favorite shows that she did with the live reader because the middle guest I got her cards read was a friend of mine and a friend of one of my wife's nearest and dearest people in her life. She passed away in 2019, and the person that they were talking about, Heather, was my wife, and this was her best friend. So a lot of connections, a lot of tears, a lot of good stuff through this whole this session. A lot of like she's talking about the text messages that she got from Heather, and that came through and a message from Roland like a year ago that she was going to find new ways to get in touch with us to send us signs. So always look for these signs. Some of them are blunt, some of them are blatant, some of them are simple, but our loved ones are always out there to say hi. Speaking of my wife's sisters and her she called them her sisters. She had 5 of them. They were friends. Some of the closest people to her ever. Missy was one of them. Another one of them was out on Block Island. Speaking of Block Island, I'll share with you guys some fun facts about Block Island and the people we're getting together with. Oh, they're at Block Island Ghost Tours. So Block Island Ghost Tours. It's a lovely organization, business operated by the man, the myth, and the Block Island paranormal legend Rick Lysick. He has a walking tour of Old Harbor. Has some photos. He has a ghost ride tour, which you get on bus and ride around the island and see all the fun haunted stuff. There is a lot of haunted. He is Spirits with Spirits. Rick has also the owner of one of the best dive bars in New England, Club Soda, and Rob Martin's Magic Show, which you'd be privy to if you buy a ticket for this weekend's Paranormal Party Weekend. So this weekend, if you're able to make 7 o'clock with a VIP meet and greet. Our VIP happens to be none other than Matt Warner of Warner Paranormal Research up there in Massachusetts. They do 2 locations, and they help to historically preserve these locations. And he's a beautiful man, and it should be a beautiful weekend. But if you can't make it for the lodging, it's understandable, or you do not have like $1,000 to invest. Join us Saturday morning. I'm coming out Saturday morning with Sarah Gagne of La Chat Noir. And after some beach time and some beach balls, she's going to do a tarot card reading. And I don't think we're going to do this whole jokes thing with Mike, but she's going to do a tarot card reading or a gallery reading. Come out if you enjoyed Sarah tonight. She's absolutely amazing. She's been on 5 legit shows thus far, and I can't wait to see her again. She's one of these upcoming ladies. You can find Sarah and La Chat Noir on Main Street in East Greenwich, Rhode Island. She has a small office in this like complex, I guess you could say, La Chat Noir. She's also on facebook.com. You can look her up on there and get her hours and get in touch with her about, setting up your own private reading or your private session. She's absolutely amazing. 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 So anyway, after that, at 4 o'clock, Rob Martin, like I showed you earlier in the pictorial, is doing a magic show. Whether he has a wand or does any of that stuff, I don't know. I've never seen his magic show, but I've heard it's quite tricky. At 5 o'clock, the man, the myth, the legit paranormal legend of Block Island himself, Rick Lysick, the son of my elementary school principal, which is mind blowing, still blows my mind. Mrs. Lysick, loved her. He will get everybody together, and you'll take a ghost tour of Block Island, which has a very rich history and a very rich haunted, allegedly, history as well. They're serial killers. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's included. But the whole serial killer, not so much. And he'll tell you other fun facts and haunted facts about Block Island. At 6:15, our guest speaker, Matty Wu-Tang Walker, will take the stage, and he'll talk about all of his adventures in ghost hunting. Giggity. At 7 p.m., Mike will lead you in a scavenger hunt in and around the Block Island region, at which point you will all end up at the after party at 9 o'clock at the infamous, the amazing Club Soda. So this is our paranormal weekend. In June, we did Tim Weisberg. This weekend, we're doing Maddie Warner. And in August, we're doing the Ghost Boy at Genesco, Chris DeCesare. He has some of the most amazing stories I've heard since being in the paranormal, sort of, I guess. No, he got attacked in the shower. He got it bad. So if you plan on joining us this weekend, that'd be great. And let me share with you just a little bit more of information before I remove myself and end this amazing, tremendous podcast. Oh my God, hold on. I'm going to show you one more little quick bit of information. You can find this on www. Oh Christ, hold on. Here we go. You can find that on blockislandferry.com/Point Judith. So the sail away on the Block Island Ferry. You want to get to Point Judith, Rhode Island, which is located in sunny and scenic and ocean area ocean area of Rhode Island. Its popular beaches are Galilee, and there's Point Judith is lovely. Also, same name here. So you want to go down, you can buy tickets, you can get directions, you can get your vehicle reservations, which you're not going to be able to register your vehicle for the next 2 months. So don't even waste your time. But you want to go here, June 17th to August 27th. You jump on the ferry. These are the scheduled times. So on Saturday, I will be on the 10:30 ferry. And all these other times, all throughout the day. It's about $20 round trip for on the 5 o'clock ferry to come home, because the paranormal investigator, Buddy Thayer, also of Ocean State Paranormal, is hosting a final goodbye investigation with Dale at a very investigated location. Stay tuned for details on that. So, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. It's been a lovely night. I was able to get some homework done in between. I was able to listen to a really great podcast with Auntie Dale. And stay tuned so tomorrow night on Wednesday, what's tomorrow? The 19th. Mike does legit paranormal news with Dreamy David Baugh, who's an amazing guy. Mike, not so much, but Dave is awesome. And I think they're joined by Sin Schrader Hill as well, who is the next upcoming star here on legitpodcast.com. Then they're at 9:05, you have Into the Legit Darkness, hosted by Rini Rodriguez. I think she has a co-host. I'm sorry, I don't know her name. It might be this girl Mandy, but I'm sorry. I work Wednesday nights. So she'll talk about true crime and serial killers and all the dark and evil shit that people do. Then on Thursday night, you can see my lovely face again if I'm not skipping on Thursdays. So you can join King Michael. You can probably find yourself face to face with the dead sexy Rick Lysick with the long hair. And Sarah Paranormal is generally on, and they will as they welcome. I don't know his name. He's a paranormal investigator. I forgot it's on my phone, and I don't want to like waste your time me looking it up. Just stay tuned. I'll post stuff, and you'll know exactly who's on. For Mike King Michael, who's not here, for Sarah Gagne, who we're gonna see on Saturday. For Auntie Dale, who's my lovely Aunt Carolina. We'll see you in September. It's me, it's Buddy Fan. It's not King Michael. And this has been legit, it's legit metaphysical rerun.